Hey everybody, Jonathan Holmes here from Destructoid.com, back again with an exclusive interview with Matt Harwood. He is the composer of so many good video games. Tell us some of the games that you made in the past.
Started with the Behemoth doing Alien Hominid. I did a lot of like Kashi serial games and stuff like that. Worked at Chaos for 6 years in the city doing Frontlines and Homefront. Did the music and sound for those games. And also Gaijin Games doing their 6-Bit.Trip series.
You know, the people who know Destructoid know that my love is with the Bit.Trip series. So how did you get involved with the Bit.Trip series and what was that like writing music for those games?
Actually, he heard about me through the Behemoth games after playing Alien Hominid, and you know, called me up and said, hey, you know, I'm doing this and X, Y, and Z in the future. You know, since we were working in the past, you know, we just kept a good relationship, and then eventually, when he did the Bit.Trip games, we you know, teamed up there as well. So.
Awesome. And the Bit.Trip games don't sound like anything else I've ever really played. What was the process like for making those games?
Way early in when the concept phase, when we were just talking about it, it was you know, he really had this bug about doing, you know, old retro style 8-bit titles, and it really excited me because it's so different, you know, and it sounds so much. You're doing these massive, big, bombastic, you know, recording an orchestral score, and then you're doing this,
sure,
you know, recording your Atari up in your studio to get loops and bleeps and stuff. And
so you actually got an Atari sent to you to sample in order to make the Bit.Trip games?
Alex, I gotta return it to you, buddy. He sent me one in the mail, and I'm like, oh, it's an Atari! And so I plugged it in and sampled a bunch of the sounds off of it, and you know, just screwing around with various plugins too. You can crunch and, you know, bit smash sounds and do a lot of different things to it, because we wanted it to not be just really, you know, chiptune-y. Throughout an entire course of a 6-game series, we wanted some sounds that could grow and be more organic and grow with Commander Video over time too, and sound, you know, more ethereal. And it's hard to get that with just the 8-bit, you know, noises after a while. A chiptune after 6 minutes of hearing it is really awesome, and I can listen to it for a while personally, but like we wanted to make sure it was approachable as well.
When you're making a game where the music is really intrinsic to the gameplay in terms of the meld, as opposed to scoring something like Homefront, how is your mentality different when you approach those two different types of games?
Oh, very, very different. From a fusing together of the gameplay with the music. I mean, we had a lot of conversations of how we're going to do it, how we're going to mode up and down and change things, and we really wanted the player to both be a participant in making the music as well as allowing it to happen to them too, you know. And throughout the course of the games you get direct player input, like in Core, Guitar Hero-y kind of, you know, vibe, whereas in Flux, you know, it's like it's happening to you, and it's as well as you're controlling some of it too. It's, I don't know, it's a fun marriage.
So as opposed to something like Homefront, where did you approach that more like a movie, like you were applying music to advance the mood that was already set in motion, as opposed to having the player be quite as integrated into it?
I think, I mean, just from developing music and sound for a game, I always start with what do I want the player to feel, no matter what kind of game it is. So from a cinematic blockbuster, you know, you want them to feel that immersion and that, you know, I'm in a Hollywood special effects kind of deal.
Sure.
And, you know, but also just, you know, emoting off of reactions on the screen. It's the same thing, you know. It's always like the player needs to feel X, and then you develop all this stuff, all the content, the art, everything, the story is derived from that. Music is one of the only things you can get like some serious feedback from, you know. So from a player, the payoff is so huge, which is why I think Guitar Hero and those games are massively successful, because the payoff is immediate and real and tangible, you know.
A real connection, a real reward, a real sense of involvement with the music. Yeah, that makes sense.
So like, I mean, in like Call of Duty, you're getting XP and you're getting all these increases and you're getting payback, you know, and you're getting that wonderful reward for doing your work, you know. But it's a much more, I don't know, be inspired. Alex always wants to inspire, you know, with his products, and that was very, very fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because I agree with that wholeheartedly, you know.
What do you think that the you know, Cliffy B and Hideo Kojima, everyone knows those guys, but the music sometimes gets ignored, I think, by the mainstream gamer culture.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a twofold question. A lot of times, you know, the audio department is, you know, we'll add sound later. I also think, you know, some of the guys in the industry also, we're the bastard child, and you know, it's one of those things where it's a third, if not more, the experience, and I take that very seriously, you know, and because you put the sound on it, and all of a sudden it changes completely, you know, everything, or the music, or like you get a vibe, and now the whole, it has a meaning to it. It has a substance that wasn't there before. I mean, there's lots of people who love soundtracks for games too.
Oh, sure.
You know.
Sure. But they'll know a rock and roll band like Amanamaguchi. They won't necessarily know a guy like you, which makes me sad. So that's why I'm glad you're getting out there to show people. Maybe now that you're getting out there, you're going to form a cult personality. People are going to be putting pictures of you on their wall. So you're working on the new Bit.Trip game, right?
Yep. I tried to compose a huge chunk of music while they were in pre-pro, and almost all of it, so that they had it, and I could sweeten it, and we could, you know, do some iterations on it after. But I did that on purpose. I said, here you go, because all throughout development, I was trying to feed them pieces of music way before, so that they could develop the levels around it, you know.
So that's kind of the opposite of the bastard child approach. I mean, you're like the king child. You're like the good-looking oldest kid with all the muscles. Well, is there anything you want the people to know before you go about why you make music, what you're hoping to do with your music? You've already answered a lot of that, but is there anything you think we've missed?
Music is awesome, especially in games. And you go to a symphony and you're watching it happen to you, or you go. It's a very sit-back experience. You know, when you play a game, you're sitting forward, and that's an awesome opportunity to involve people in. You know, and it's the most powerful form of sound we have because of its immediacy. You know, it can change your whole mindset, and it's very powerful, and it's just fun to do that. You know, it's rewarding in a strange, deep way.
Awesome, man. The kid doesn't get any better. That's why I do this stuff. It's rewarding in a strange, deep way. So I think we're meeting of the minds here. 2 peas in a pod. Speaking of that, I hope they can give us our pea pods soon. Hungry for pea pods.